Hey everybody, John Corey here, Marketing Director for McClinton Chevrolet Mitsubishi. This is a happy Monday for us all, and what you're looking at right there is my pick of the week. This is actually one of my favorite vehicles to hit the used lot in a long time. I've actually been waiting for this one to come out so I can show it to everyone. This is a 2019 Buick Enclave. I love this car. In fact, of everything that's on our lot right now, including a Challenger, another Challenger, and a Mustang, and a Jeep, and all those trucks, this Buick is the one I would take home right now. And I want to explain to you why. Now, I've rented one of these before. Actually, it's been several years ago during the first generation. I absolutely love this thing. It is a great road trip vehicle. It's one of the most comfortable vehicles I've ever driven. Now you might be thinking, well, the Enclave, that's just the same thing as a Chevy Traverse. And the answer to that is yes, but also no, and here's why. They are on a similar platform, I'm not gonna lie. Everything in the engines is the same, everything like the mechanics, that's pretty much all very similar, but it's the little details that set this vehicle apart. Now, what I will also say is this one that we're looking at right now is very similar as far as equipment goes to a high country Traverse. So as far as like leather and all that fun stuff, but there's just a few little nuances in this one that I really like. Before we get into that, once again, I do want to let you know that this is a Buick Enclave. It is a mid-size, technically. I might argue that's borderline full-size crossover, 3-row. It is a V6. It has the 3.6 liter in it. It is all-wheel drive, and this one's pretty much loaded to the gills. One thing I just want to point out here, and this is one of those things in which it's different. Obviously, the front fascia there is different than what you're going to find on a Traverse. And like I said, Traverse is a great vehicle. I'm not going to put one of those down. I just like this. For one thing, we don't have a lot of Buick Enclaves that come through, especially this design. So you get the little LED strip there, the little LED strip there below the turn signal / hazard light. And then just look at the size of that emblem. I mean, my fist can barely cover it. It's a massive Buick emblem. Fun fact for you car enthusiasts, the Buick emblem is actually getting ready to change. They're making it more modern. Over here, you're going to see, I believe these are 20-inch rims. I tried to look at the tires before we started, but as you can tell, it's dark, and I can't exactly read the tire code on the side, plus my eyes are really bad. One thing else I want to point out that's a little bit different from the Traverse is right here, this little styling cue. Some of the older folks might remember the Buicks of the past had portholes on the side. This is kind of like a modern interpretation of a porthole for Buick. Much more sleek, and it kind of flows along with the mirror line there. Coming to the side, I do want to point out those are massive rear doors. We'll check out that back seat in just a second, but that is great if you have kids, if you want to put a child seat in the back. Coming around to the back of the vehicle, once again, you can tell that this is indeed an all-wheel drive. There is your LED tail light. And then the flashers there are, I actually can't tell those are incandescent or LEDs. Up top we have a nice roof rack. And let's go ahead and take a look at the interior, because that's another way in which this vehicle differentiates itself from the Traverse. You do have a passkey entry system there. Let's go ahead and open this up. Want to point out here on the side, your power mirrors. This also has power folding mirrors, power windows, power locks. There's your memory control for your seats. And down there is your adjuster for the rear hatch. This does have a power hatch. And one thing like pretty much every GM SUV has is this ability to adjust how high the hatch goes. So if you're in like a parking garage and you don't want to hit the roof, you can turn it down to 3/4, or you can turn it down to off. Over there, you can see the electronic parking brake. On the steering wheel, there's your control for your heated seat. Your Bluetooth controls are there also. And then over there is your controls for like your menu and your volume and all that. And there's also some controls there. I don't know if you can tell on the back of the steering wheel. There is your gauge cluster. It's very classy. Analog with a digital screen in the middle. I do like the way the infotainment screen on this one's laid out. It is different a little bit from the Traverse. Actually, the whole dash is just slightly different from the Traverse. And then I'm gonna put it is nice and warm in here, unlike outside. You do have dual zone climate control up front. We've got it set to 69 degrees, nice on both sides. You also have your fan controls, heated seats, ventilated seats. I really like this gear selector. This is another way in which this is different than Traverse. It's subtle, but it's a more modern gear selector. You have like a light tan leather interior in here. And you may have noticed that I have the moonroof open. This vehicle has not one, but two glass roofs. So essentially you have a moonroof, which is power and opens. Then this back one does not open, but it's still nice to have for your rear passengers. So if you have kids in the back, you can watch the stars at night. Let's take a look at that back seat now, because this is where this thing really starts to shine. Middle row, I shouldn't say back seat. Technically it's the middle row. Middle row captain's chairs, which I prefer. I don't know why anyone would want a bench seat in the middle row, but you know, that's what therapy's for. Back here, heated seats, and this is your tri-zone climate control, because the back seat passengers do have their own climate control. And then up there, which is something I like, you have the vents coming out of the ceiling. It's a very GM thing to do, but I like it quite a bit. It's just, you know, most of the time your passengers are going to be facing forward and the air will come down as opposed to like coming up from the ground. Of course, you know, heat rises, all that stuff, but we won't get into that right now. And then this thing has a true 3-row. Adults can actually sit back there in that 3rd row. So altogether, you've got seating for 7 in this. Nap pockets on the back of the seat there. Honestly, some of the most comfortable seats you'll find, very Buick. And back here, before we wrap this up, I want to show you the cargo area. Check that out. You have plenty of room behind the 3rd row. So you can put like, I would say like 4 roller bags back there. Once again, it is power. So that's nice, especially on days like today when you want to get in and out in a hurry. And overall, this is just a great vehicle. Highly recommend coming by to take a look at it. I would buy it if I needed it, but it has seating for 7 and I only need seating for 1. So let's take a look at some of the numbers on this one real quick before we say goodbye. 33,742 has, actually let me double check the mileage on this one. But that's a great price for a slightly pre-owned Buick Enclave. 44,612. And mileage might be a concern of yours, but it shouldn't be, because like a lot of our used cars, this comes with the McClinton Million. That's our 10-year, million-mile powertrain warranty. So you're covered for the long haul. This thing's covered until 2029. That's your engine, your transmission, the drive system, anything that, you know, makes the vehicle go is covered under that. And because we are a certified Chevrolet dealership, this is a GM vehicle. We can work on this here. We've been doing this for a long, long time. We know how to work on these vehicles. Of course, you know, it's a quality built GM, so you won't have a lot of issues with it. Also want to mention that we do have guaranteed credit approval. So if you're worried about getting approved on this, give us a call. One last thing I want to point out here is that we have the dot track theft deterrent system. Now this, I've just spent like 8 minutes telling you why this is a very desirable vehicle, and some people might want to take it from you. Well, that is a theft deterrent. So the way that works is this vehicle is essentially trackable by law enforcement. We also include $1 million life protection program on that, identity theft protection program. So a lot to see here. Come check it out. Bring your kids, drive it in person. Give us a call, 304-422-6501. Check us out online, McClintonChevy.com. All right, everyone, happy Monday. Have a great day.